Welcome to Whisper Walls, a series presented by Word Limit. In a world crawling towards an apocalypse, all that may remain are the stories that can help rebuild. Declared dead, but very much alive, Dr. Charles Sharpay unveils the conspiracy behind Polypia's downfall and the underground movement built on a lie. Before he's silenced, he has one final truth to share. If you enjoy these stories, please visit us at wordlimit.com or follow us on X at wordlimit or on Instagram at wordlimitpod. This story is set to grab your attention with a 17-word limit. This is Illegal Avatars, Wave 2.
My name is Charles Sharpay, or at least that's who I was. Now I am simply Doctor. That is who the prophecy said I would be. Before I begin, I owe an apology to my colleagues and to you, Steve Fumer. I know you felt betrayed, and for that I am sorry. You were a good friend to the Doctor, a loyal one. We never intended for you to be caught up in this. I understand your anger, and as you mentioned, I do not believe you to be a racist. You are a stranger to foreign affairs, and I do not blame you for your ignorance. But your nose, aside from detecting the scent we could not afford momentarily to mask, seemed to have snooped where it did not belong. Yet, as you can hear me speak, I am not dead. That day when they found me breathless in the storage unit, it was planned. What you witnessed was not death, but the rest of a heartbeat, a Balapian meditative practice designed to silence the body completely. It slows the mind, the pulse, the very essence of being. Only we Balapians have mastered it. The idea was formulated by Grayton from the alarm force company that I worked for. I owed loyalty to Grayton because of his father. More on that later. But Grayton believed faking my death would rally the others, push them toward completing our spaceship mission. But, for the record, I did wake up at the hospital. The doctors saw me rise like a phoenix. Yet, because they had already pronounced me dead, they refused to undo their administrative work. The bureaucracy of death had already processed me. I walked out of that place a ghost, legally deceased. I even cashed my own life insurance check in front of the banker, and still they refused to acknowledge my existence. Too much red tape, the banker said. Just go and live in another province. Your healthcare system, I must say, could use some discipline. But, as I said, my death was meant to inspire. Per Grayton's plan, it was to galvanize the others, to procure more spaceships, to make our mission real. And so, we had to follow the tradition of burning the body of the deceased. Not difficult to arrange. A little of my inherited insurance money in the right hands, and a mortician provided a body. Grayton and I dressed it in my clothes, carried it to the woods, and watched it burn. I do not subscribe to Balapia's cremation rites, but the majority does, and I respected that. It was a strange thing, witnessing my own funeral from the shadows. Stranger still was the intruder, a woman. She was lost in some episode of her own. I hope she is well. If she ever seeks therapy, I would help her. But, once my death was official, I disappeared. And, as the banker had asked, a new province, a new life. Now, before I go on, you must understand something. Something about Balapia. I know most of you never cared for our country. Well, your elite did, before they plundered it. Now you care only insofar as you want us gone, packed up, sent back to the ruins you left behind. But listen closely, because this matters. Balapia was beautiful once. It was the birthplace of the idea of whisper walls, a symbol of resistance. We called it rebel radio, a way to remind each other in hushed voices that we were not alone, that we could stand against tyranny, against corruption, against the suffocating frustration of it all. And for a time, we succeeded. I hope, truly, that you find that voice for yourself before it is too late. Use the whisper walls for storage, for communication. Do not trust the memory bank as a place to safekeep your memories that would be controlled by a private institution such as Zocad's. That is just my advice. I know you blame us, the Balapians, for your suffering, your fear. But that is a lie, a story crafted to keep you comfortable in your anger. We did not bring the disease. It was never ours to give. If only you had let us help. If, when I arrived, my credentials had been accepted as equal. If my people had been embraced for what we could offer, you would have had a cure by now. You would not find yourselves in this desperate position. But here we are, and now it is only a matter of time. The authorities are closing in. I first heard Steve's voice on the whisper walls months ago, and I feel the noose tightening. So let us speak plainly, shall we? We did not come to your country because we wanted to. We loved our home. We built it, rebuilt it, bled for it. But your hands were never far from its throat. You stirred the chaos, stole our wealth, assassinated our brightest minds. And when the dust settled, you walked away with our minerals, our resources, and the luxury of forgetting what you had done. You created the very disease that now plagues you, and still you curse us for it. I was there when it began. We call it mind venom. You introduced the first strand to our land to control us, but we figured it out. The prophecy told us we would. Grayton's father, his name was James, an ambassador to Balapia, a notorious womanizer with children scattered across the world, but his influence outweighed his indiscretions. When the mind venom plague struck, James pleaded from country to country for aid. When he returned, he was different, prophet-like. His mind expanded. He could see future days, weeks, months with uncanny precision. He wrote books on our destiny. He prepared us for what was to come, and he appointed me Doctor of the Mind. But all powers have limits. The greatest gift of the prophecies was our whisper walls, once again that we called Rebel Radio. We built secret confessional booths across the land where people could share their stories, frustrations, and warnings, uncensored, protected, managed by the people for the people. But we knew we were watched, so we used these booths to communicate. Our brightest minds dissected the West's strategies, unmasking their efforts to dismantle us. You nearly succeeded. It was as if you played gods, choosing who would prosper and who would be left to die. I only pray the roles are never reversed, because you left us in ruin, and my regime, we were left to pick up the pieces. The disease bred hysteria, paranoia. One delusion led the people to believe the government sought to extract gold from their brains, to use it as an energy source. It was mass psychosis. We turned to the prophet for guidance. He answered, avatar therapy, a method not unfamiliar to your world, a process of guiding the delusional through their illusions step by step back to reality. It is usually completed via virtual simulation. We preferred real-world simulation. So we created an enemy, an actor, a false tyrant to be overthrown. And it worked. Every time. But sometimes it would get too much to bear, such as when we had to fight the Animorph delusion. This was literally herds of people starting to think they were wildlife. This was tough, as it affected me personally. I witnessed my sister, convinced she was a lion, shot with tranquilizers meant for wild beasts. This led to her being comatose for months until sanity was restored. I watched entire cities terrorized by groups who thought they were coyotes. They were consumed by madness, but we fought it. When we raised these concerns and pleas to the international community, they responded that maybe these individuals were animals and it was too late for them, told us to pick those who needed saving. That was a harsh message, as every Balapian was worth saving. And we survived. We won. We built leaders, rebuilt societies again and again, until there was nothing left to salvage, until our home became unlivable. And then James, our prophet, lost his gift. He could no longer see the future. Guess he never could predict when he would lose his powers. We did not foresee the Civil War. We did not see our own people leading the charge against those that were heralded as heroes. Thus, the great exodus to your countries. And now, here we are. Unwanted, unwelcome. And the spaceship mission? A delusion. Grayton's delusion. But mass psychosis does not die at the border. It travels. It infects new soil. And as I promised Grayton's father James, I would always look after him. I was going to be there for him. I had to treat it, avatar therapy again. My countrymen and women that worked at the Alarm Force firm truly believed that space was the answer. I mean, the trauma of living there and the fact that they thought there was no home to go back to would theoretically encourage an idea that a distant planet could perhaps serve as our new home. Of course, I didn't believe it, but I understood the logic of it. So, with avatar therapy, I had to be all in. I planned it all out with Grayton. Each and every car stolen was harmless from our eyes. I helped them steal old cars, vehicles whose owners would not miss them, or could at least reclaim their losses through insurance. It was harmless. More importantly, it was necessary. These hunks of metal were tethers to their sanity. Would you rather they had spiraled into something worse? A Jim Jones drink the poison kind of worse? Or perhaps we could have had a flock of Balapians thinking they were falcons roaming your streets and crescents. I made a choice. The best, worst option. And we grew. Province by province, state by state, our spaceship initiative became a whisper across the land. And I am sure there is not a friend of yours that has not heard of the spaceship missions. But let me make this clear. We are not terrorists. We are not technically thieves either. I think every piece we took, we were owed. Yet I know how this ends. I will be found. We will be found. Taken. Deported. Or worse. But before they silence me, let me leave you with this. If it is the cure you seek, we may have it. And if history is any indication, you will need us before this is over. So please, be kind. Sincerely, Charles Sharpay, Doctor of the Mind.
Thanks for listening. Please subscribe to our channel for more stories and series. Again, please follow us on X at WordLimit and Instagram at WordLimitPod, or visit us at wordlimit.com, where we strive to connect and never lose your attention.